Was it really just a dent? Or did Karen unleash a storm she couldn't control? The morning sun spilled over Willow Creek Lane, a quiet suburban street where picket fences gleamed and manicured lawns whispered of order. But today, chaos simmered. Karen Hargrove, a woman whose presence could sour the sweetest summer day, stormed out of her beige colonial home, her floral dress flapping like a warning flag. Her face, flushed with indignation, twisted into a scowl as she marched toward the silver Lexus parked across the street. It belonged to Mia Chun, the new neighbor, a soft-spoken graphic designer who'd moved in 3 months ago. Karen's eyes locked on the car, her lips curling. She'd been fuming since Mia's moving truck blocked her driveway for a day. To Karen, that was an unforgivable sin. Without hesitation, she swung her oversized purse, slamming it into the Lexus's door. The thud echoed, leaving a jagged dent. A neighbor, old Mr. Thompson, froze mid-step on his morning walk, his eyes wide. Karen didn't care. She stormed back to her house, leaving the damage like a badge of her rage. By noon, whispers spread. Mia, returning from a client meeting, saw the dent and gasped, her hand trembling as she touched the cold metal. Her heart sank not just for the car, but for the dream of a peaceful new start. She knocked on Karen's door, her voice steady but kind, asking if she'd seen anything. Karen's response was a sneer. Maybe you shouldn't park like you own the street, she snapped, slamming the door. Mia stood there, stunned, as the neighborhood's eyes began to turn. The whispers grew louder. Mr. Thompson, who'd seen it all, told his wife, who told the book club, who told the PDA. By evening, a small group gathered in Mia's driveway, their faces a mix of sympathy and outrage. That's just Karen being Karen, said Sarah, a single mom who'd once endured Karen's tirade over a misplaced recycling bin. But this time, it wasn't just a tantrum, it was vandalism. Mia, still shaken, hesitated to call the police. I don't want to escalate, she said, her voice soft. But Sarah, fire in her eyes, had other plans. She can't keep doing this, she said, pulling out her phone. She'd caught Karen's purse-swinging act on her doorbell camera, a grainy but damning video. The group watched in silence as the footage played, Karen's deliberate swing, the dent, her smug retreat. The truth was undeniable. Sarah posted the clip to the neighborhood's private Facebook group, and the comments exploded. She's gone too far, one neighbor wrote. Time to teach her a lesson, said another. By nightfall, the group had a plan not just to confront Karen, but to make her face the weight of her actions. They didn't want revenge. They wanted justice. Mia, still reluctant, agreed to file a police report, her hands shaking as she dialed. The officer who arrived was calm, taking notes as Mia explained, her voice breaking. I just want to feel safe here, she said. The officer nodded, promising to investigate. As he left, Sarah and Mr. Thompson exchanged a look. This was only the beginning. The next morning, signs began appearing on lawns up and down Willow Creek Lane. Karenkarma, read one. Bold letters scrawled in black marker. Respect your neighbors, demanded another. Mia's heart raced as she saw them, torn between gratitude and fear of escalation. Karen, stepping outside to grab her mail, froze. Her face reddened, her eyes darting from sign to sign. She ripped one from Mr. Thompson's lawn, tearing it to shreds. But more appeared by afternoon. The neighborhood had spoken. Karen's phone buzzed with notifications she'd been tagged in the Facebook post. Now public. The video looping for all to see. Comments poured in. Not just from neighbors, but from strangers across town. Entitled much. One read, "Hope she pays for that dent," said another. Karen's world, built on control and intimidation, began to crack. She stormed to Sarah's house, pounding on the door. "You think you can humiliate me?" She shrieked when Sarah answered, unfazed. Sarah crossed her arms. "You did that to yourself, Karen." The confrontation drew a small crowd, neighbors stepping out to watch. Mia, standing at her window, felt a knot in her stomach. This wasn't what she'd wanted, but it was what Karen had earned. Then came the twist. Sarah revealed she'd sent the video to the local news. A reporter was on her way. Karen's face drained of color. This wasn't just a neighborhood feud, Anna Maria, it was public. The reporter arrived by noon. Her van parked conspicuously outside Mia's house. Karen, watching from her window, felt her chest tighten. The camera crew set up, filming the dented Lexus as Mia recounted the incident. Her voice steady but laced with pain. "I just wanted to start fresh here," she said, her eyes glistening. The reporter, a sharp woman named Lisa, nodded, her pen moving quickly. Sarah stood nearby, arms crossed, her gaze fixed on Karen's house. The signs on the lawns glowed under the midday sun, their messages sharper now. Karen, apologize, and vandals face justice. The neighborhood pulsed with tension. Every curtain twitched a silent accusation. Lisa interviewed Mr. Thompson, who recounted Karen's purse swinging with quiet disgust. "She's been bullying people for years," he said. "This time, she crossed a line." The segment aired that evening on the local news. The headline flashing, "Neighborhood fights back against vandal." Karen's name wasn't mentioned, but her face, caught on Sarah's doorbell camera, was unmistakable. The video looped again, her sneer frozen in time. Social media erupted. Hashtags like Karenkarma trending locally. Karen, holed up in her living room, scrolled through the posts, her hands trembling. She'd always thrived on control, but now she was the one cornered. Then came the twist that broke her resolve. A letter arrived from Mia's lawyer, detailing a civil suit for property damage. Attached was a police report confirming the vandalism charge, with a court date set for next month. Karen's heart sank as she read the estimated repair cost, $2,500. Her savings, already thin from years of frivolous spending, couldn't cover it. Worse, the letter hinted at further action if she didn't settle. Panic set in. She'd expected Mia to back down, to let it go like others had before. But Mia wasn't alone. She had the neighborhood behind her. Karen's phone rang. A neighbor's number. She ignored it, but the calls kept coming. Messages piled up. "Pay for the damage. Karen, own up to it." She threw her phone across the room, its screen cracking on the hardwood. Outside, the signs multiplied, now joined by handwritten notes taped to mailboxes. "Karen, do the right thing." The pressure was suffocating. That night, unable to sleep, Karen stood at her window, watching the street. A figure moved in the dark Sarah, taping another sign to a lamppost. Karen's fists clenched, but fear held her back. She wasn't just fighting Mia now. She was fighting everyone. The confrontation came at dawn. Karen, fueled by sleepless rage, marched to Mia's house, pounding on the door. Mia opened it, her face calm but resolute. Sarah and Mr. Thompson appeared behind her, their presence a silent wall. "You think you can ruin me?" Karen shouted, her voice cracking. Mia stepped forward, unflinching. "You ruined yourself when you hurt my property," she said. "This isn't about revenge, it's about accountability." Karen's eyes darted to the crowd forming, 5 neighbors, their faces hard. She lunged toward Mia, but Sarah stepped in, her voice low. "Back off, Karen. The police are on speed dial." Karen froze, her breath ragged. The weight of her actions crashed down years of berating neighbors, demanding control, dismissing apologies. Now, she was the one exposed. The reporter's van pulled up again, Lisa stepping out with her camera crew. Karen's bravado crumbled. She turned, fleeing back to her house, the neighbor's eyes burning into her back. The segment aired again that night, this time with footage of the morning standoff. The hashtag Karenkarma climbed higher, and strangers began driving by, snapping photos of the signs. Karen's world was unraveling, and she had no one to blame but herself. Karen's downfall was swift and merciless. The court date loomed, and the evidence was ironclad: Sarah's video, Mr. Thompson's testimony, and Mia's calm, detailed account. Karen hired a lawyer, a slick man who promised to handle it. But his confidence faded when he saw the footage. In court, Karen sat rigid, her face pale, as the judge reviewed the case. Mia's lawyer presented the repair estimate and the police report, while Sarah's video played on a screen, Karen's purse-swinging act looping in silence. The courtroom was packed: neighbors, reporters, even curious strangers drawn by the viral story. Karen's lawyer argued she'd acted in a moment of frustration, but the judge wasn't swayed. "This was deliberate," he said, his voice firm. "You caused harm and showed no remorse." The ruling came. Karen was to pay $2,500 for the damage, plus $1,000 in legal fees. Failure to comply would mean wage garnishment or worse. Karen's savings were drained, and her job as a real estate agent began to falter. Clients, seeing the news, canceled showings. Her name was poison. Outside the courthouse, signs still dotted the lawns, now joined by a new one: "Justice served." Karen drove home, tears streaming, the weight of her isolation crushing her. The neighborhood didn't celebrate, they mourned the division Karen had sown. Mia, though vindicated, felt no joy. She repaired the Lexus, but the scars of the ordeal lingered. One evening, she found a note slipped under her door, written in Karen's shaky hand. "I'm sorry," it read. "I was wrong." Mia stared at it, unsure what to feel. Karen had vanished from the street, her blinds drawn, her car unmoved. Rumors spread that she was selling her house, unable to face the neighbors she'd alienated. Sarah, once the firebrand, softened. "She's human," she told Mia. "Maybe this will change her." Mia nodded, but doubt lingered. The signs came down, one by one, as the neighborhood tried to heal. Mia started a community garden, a small act to bring people together. Mr. Thompson planted the first seeds, his hands steady despite his age. Sarah brought her kids, their laughter filling the air where tension once reigned. The garden grew, a symbol of renewal, proof that even broken ground could bloom again. Karen, meanwhile, faced her reckoning alone. She sold her house at a loss, moving to a small apartment across town. The viral video faded, but its lesson lingered. She started therapy, a step she'd once mocked, and began to unravel the anger that had defined her. It was slow, painful work, but she wrote letters not just to Mia, but to others she'd hurt. Some forgave, others didn't. Karen learned to live with that. Back on Willow Creek Lane, the neighborhood thrived. Mia's garden became a gathering place, where stories were shared and wounds mended. At its center, a small plaque read, "Grow Together." It wasn't about Karen Anna Maria, it was about what the community could become. One evening, as Mia watered the flowers, a stranger stopped by, asking about the garden. "It's for everyone," Mia said, smiling. The stranger nodded, unaware of the battle that had birthed it. And in that moment, under the fading sun, Willow Creek Lane felt whole again, its scars proof of resilience, its growth a promise of hope.